A long time ago, I had the pleasure of speaking to Roy Castle, and many of you who listen to the programme regularly will know that I always say he was the nicest man I ever interviewed, and I genuinely mean that. And then, years later, I had the joy of speaking to Fiona Castle, and now I have the joy of speaking to Fiona Castle again. Good evening, good afternoon, I should say, Fiona.
Hello, Dominic.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Do you know, I'm just thinking out loud, I've also spoken to your son as well.
Have you really?
I feel I know the family.
You know, I've got no chance, because people used to introduce me as Roy Castle's wife. Now sometimes I'm introduced as Ben Castle's mother.
Oh, no. Oh, you can't win, can you?
Chance,
Isn't that funny? It's great to have you with us.
Thank you.
Now, of course, everybody associates Roy, apart from his career, of course, with his fight against cancer, and also, of course, his fight to sort of get the message across to other people about lung cancer, and more importantly, to try and do something about it.
That's right, yes.
And something new is out now, isn't it, that is part of that message?
Yes, because I've been involved with trying to help people to give up smoking. I'm not one of those people that wags a finger and says thou shalt not, you know. But there are a lot of people out there who really want to give up. But smoking is nicotine is the most addictive substance in the world. So it's really hard for people to give up smoking. And I know what it can do to people. I know, you know, how many people die every day. A jumbo jet load of people die every day in this country.
Yeah.
You think of a jumbo jet going down, it gives you an idea of how many people will be dying just out of having smoked. So anything that I can do to promote a product that might help people, I want to do. And this is a new product called NicoBloc, and it's actually a drop, a natural drop. It contains no chemicals, and you put it onto the end of a cigarette. And when you do that, 33% of the nicotine and tar is taken out before you smoke it. And then you can do that for a while until your addiction level goes down, but you're still actually smoking. So you're dealing with the habit and the addiction separately.
Goodness.
Gradually, you get rid of 99% of the nicotine and tar, so you're not addicted anymore. So what are you doing with your hand? You're putting this thing that smokes into your mouth, and you realise that you don't need it. But one of the hardest things is the habit, because, you know, you go into a pub or you go to a restaurant, you have a meal, and immediately you want to light up afterwards, or your early morning cup of coffee, you have a smoke, and that's the hardest thing. But if you can get rid of the addiction first, then the necessity to continue to drag on that cigarette goes.
Yeah. It's interesting that you mentioned that, because of course part of the thing is, what maybe the side of it people always forget is the addiction side apart. It's the fact that people, for whatever reason, I guess you tend to think to yourself, well, but that's what I do in the pub. I've got my pint in one hand, and I you know, I always have something in the other hand. I always have a smoke. It's just the way it is.
That's right, exactly that. And that's what's very difficult for people to get rid of, that idea. So if you can get rid of the addiction first and then the habit, you know, nicotine actually gives you a craving, so that's part of it. You're desperate to have that next cigarette. You think it's going to calm your nerves. Actually, it's only feeding the addiction.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'd imagine with your background, because I gathered before you met Roy that you were a dancer, weren't you?
And a singer, so there was no chance for me to smoke. It would have ruined my voice.
Yeah, but interestingly, I would imagine in that kind of career, you'd be surrounded by people who would smoke a lot.
Oh, absolutely. It was a very sociable thing to do. You know, when we were married, we were given a cigarette box as a present, and we always had to have it filled up for guests and hand them round, and then, you know, 3 days after, we still had all the windows open trying to get rid of the horrible smell.
Yeah.
It was all part of life, because we didn't know the danger then, did we? Well, you're much younger than I am, but, you know, my day, about 3 centuries ago.
Oh, nonsense, nonsense. No, you know, as you say, people are a lot wiser to it. We're going to give out the details again about this NicoBloc in just a minute, but I've got to ask you, Fiona,